Attorney-General Mark Dreyfus is a prominent Jewish member of the Labor cabinet. You've slammed the decision to send him to Israel as a pre-election gimmick. Why do you think that?
Well, this is a gimmick. Ever since the 7th of October, Labor has mishandled these issues. Remember, the first thing Penny Wong did after the worst terrorist attack on Jewish people since the Holocaust in a single day was to call for Israel to exercise restraint. The Labor Party has consistently voted against Israel and against the interests of Israel in the United Nations. The fact that the Foreign Minister herself is not going, and when she did go to Israel previously, she refused to visit the kibbutzim where these terrorist attacks occurred. The fact that the government has decided to send a Jewish cabinet minister shows that they're in damage control, and this is a gimmick just before the election because they realise that fair-minded Australians don't think that the abandonment of a Western Liberal Democratic ally in the Middle East, one that has helped us foil terrorist attacks in our own country, is on. But they've sent a person who has a very poor record at dealing with anti-Semitism in Australia, a minister who's responsible for organisations like the Federal Police and the Human Rights Commission, a minister who's opposed a judicial inquiry into anti-Semitism on university campuses. So I hope he's given the rounds of the kitchen in Israel while he's there, and I don't think that this is going to make any difference to the views of fair-minded Australians who want to see a government return to our traditional foreign policy positions of standing with like-minded Western Liberal Democratic allies and standing for law-abiding Australians in this country.
Do you believe Foreign Minister Penny Wong should be travelling to Israel instead?
I think she should. I think the Prime Minister, who still hasn't been to Israel since the 7th of October, should be travelling to Israel. But all of this is too little too late because what we've seen from this government is a government who's abandoned our values, who's abandoned our allies and who's not across the details of what's happening in the Middle East.
I'm not sure whether you've seen this story. It's one of the ones that we're reporting on this morning, but a pro-Palestinian activist has designed and promoted shirts that incite hatred towards the Jewish community. I mean, it's so brazen. How is that allowed?
Well, this is exactly right. Another day, another extraordinary anti-Semitic attack in our own country, and the authorities seeming to do nothing. Not only is this an offence that should be prosecuted by our state authorities, but this is an opportunity for the Attorney-General, the Federal Attorney-General, to show that he might use some federal powers here to seek the prosecution of people for using a carriage service by trying to sell these T-shirts online. It's extraordinary that people can get away with inciting other Australians to bash law-abiding Australians in this country, and that this is just almost a daily occurrence in our country.
The Melbourne leg of the International Ice Hockey Federation Men's World Championships has been cancelled over fears that there could be anti-Jewish sentiment or security concerns, anti-Israel concerns about that. The Prime Minister says it's an unfortunate decision that they've pulled out of that Melbourne leg. Are you concerned that other sports may follow suit in the future?
I'm concerned about the de facto boycotting of our democratic ally, the State of Israel. I think we should have sporting events and cultural events that involve Israeli teams and Israeli artists. We should have Israeli academics coming here and benefiting us with their research. And this is why I've been so strong in calling for a judicial inquiry into anti-Semitism on campus. Because unfortunately in this country, the standard you walk by is the standard you accept. And we are sending to Israel an Attorney-General who's responsible for dealing with social cohesion in this country, who in his own portfolio has the Human Rights Commission, which was littered with anti-Israel activists, which has failed to do anything about any of these issues. Okay. And we're sending him there as some sort of good representative of this country. I think that's shameful, and I think we need to do more to deal with these issues now.
All right, Julian Leeser, appreciate your time this morning. Thanks for coming into the studio.